Next lesson is about simplifying algebraic expressions. There's a couple vocabulary terms at the beginning of your notes that we need to talk about. The first thing is the word term. Each part of an algebraic expression that is separated by an addition or a subtraction sign. So in terms, for example, the expression 4 squared plus 8 plus 5 minus 6, each of these is a term because they're separated by these addition or subtraction signs. Like terms are terms that have the same variables to the same power. The power is your exponent. So if I had x squared and I had x to the third, those are not like terms because their exponents are different. However, if I had x squared and 5x squared, those two would be like terms because they both have the x to the second power. Doesn't matter about the number out front. The final thing you need to know is what's called a constant. It's a term without a variable. In other words, this is just a plain old number. Constants are like terms with other constants. So going down here, are these just terms or like terms? 4x and 4, they are just terms. This one has an x, this one does not. 4x and 3x, those would be like terms because they both have x to the first power. 3 and 5, those are both just plain numbers, so they're constants, and that makes them like terms. 3x squared and x squared, x to the first, those are not the same power, so those are just terms. X and y, they're not even the same variable, so they are just terms. 3y squared and y squared, those are like terms because they're both y's to the second power. There's a note here at the top of the next page that kind of talks to you about variables that don't have numbers in front of them. In this case, there's an understood 1 in front of the variable. So for example, if I have x, this is the same thing as 1x. There's also an understood 1 in the exponent. So if I don't tell you that it's x squared or x to the third, you can assume it's just x to the first, which is what most of our variables are going to look like. So b is really equal to 1b to the first power, although we don't write the ones that are out front or in the exponent. Negative a means negative 1a to the first power. When we talk about simplifying an expression, I'm going to tell you today that all I'm going to ask you to do is to combine like terms. Combine is kind of thinking about making brownies. You're going to add together all the ingredients in a bowl. You combine them in a bowl. So just like you're going to combine your like terms. So here's how we do this. Here's our expression, and we're going to box it up, and we're going to split it into terms. Remember, it's addition or subtraction signs that tell us we're about to have a split. So we have 5m split because there's a plus sign. Positive 9m split positive m. For our purposes today, this is a 1m, so we're going to actually write that in here. We're going to use colored pencils. We're going to actually color in any ones that have the same variables to the same power. This is m to the first. I'm going to color it green. This is also m to the first, so it's a like term. This is also m to the first, so it's another like term. When that happens, I can take my like terms, and all I'm doing is adding the numbers that are out in front of it. 5 plus 9 plus 1. 5 plus 9 is 14, plus 1 more is 15. So I have 15m. Sometimes I like to think about it as fun stuff. So I'll say 5 mangoes plus 9 more mangoes plus 1 mango. I'll have 15 mangoes. Kind of makes it easier. Next one, box it up, split it up. First term, stop before the plus. Next term, stop before the plus. No more pluses, so we're done. Grab your colored pencil. Switch up colors here. We have 3a. Are there any other a's to the first in here? It's right here at the plus 4a. Now, this one's a little different because there's also a constant, which is a different type of term. So they're not going to be able to go together. Remember, you're adding up what are called coefficients, the numbers out front. 3 plus 4 is 7a, and then you have a constant plus 2. Variables always go at the beginning, constants go at the very end. Next example, box it up. Split it up. First term, plus or minus sign, plus or minus sign, plus or minus, last one. Colored pencils. First one is 3n. Are there any other n's in here? There's one other right here. The next term that I see that's different is the minus 2r, and there's one other r. I'll color it the same color. The last piece that's not colored yet is just a constant, so I'm going to make it a different color. Since I have two different letters here, we actually put the letters in alphabetical order. So n would come before the r. So I'm going to work with the n's first. So I have 3 n's plus 7. 3 plus 7 is 10n. Work with the r's. Negative 2r, positive 9r. So negative 2 plus a 9 is a positive 7r. And then my constant, the minus 5, there's only one of them, just goes at the end. Example here, box it up. Negative 4x split negative 10x. Done. This is x to the first, and this is x to the first. So I'm taking the negative 4 and a negative 10, which is going to give me negative 14x. If you're going to use your calculator to help you, you can literally type what is in front of this. So if I were to type this in my calculator, I would put negative 4, negative 10, or minus 10, and that's going to give me negative 14.